The crystal chandeliers of the grand hall sparkled, casting a warm glow over the sea of silken jewels below. Manu adjusted his formal robes, feeling slightly out of place among Ajwain's elite. As the city's most respected apothecary, his presence was expected at such gatherings, but he never quite felt at ease. "There you are, darling," Priya's voice chimed as she appeared at his side, her hand slipping into the crook of his arm. "Mother's been looking for you." Manu suppressed a sigh. His mother-in-law's attention was rarely a comfort. "Has she? I've been rather occupied discussing the new shipment of herbs from the eastern provinces with Councillor Barrett." Priya's smile faltered slightly. "Of course you have. Always so dedicated to your work." As they made their way through the crowd, Manu caught sight of his mother-in-law, her sharp eyes fixed on them. He felt a familiar twinge of guilt at the obvious adoration in Priya's gaze, knowing he could never fully reciprocate her feelings. "Manu, my boy!" boomed the voice of Governor Vikram. "Just the man I wanted to see. What news of this plague in the lower city?" Manu straightened, slipping into his professional demeanor. "It's spreading faster than we anticipated, sir. The overcrowding and poor sanitation are—" A deafening explosion cut him off, shaking the very foundations of the building. Screams erupted as chandeliers swayed dangerously overhead. "We're under attack!" someone shouted. Chaos ensued as the elegant gathering devolved into panic. Manu instinctively pulled Priya close, shielding her as they made their way towards the exit. Outside, the night sky blazed orange with fires. The acrid smell of smoke filled the air, punctuated by distant shouts and the clash of steel. "Citizens of Ajwain!" A powerful voice rang out, amplified by some unseen means. "For too long, you have suffered under the boot of oppression." Manu froze, his blood running cold. He knew that voice. "The elite grow fat while you starve. They hoard medicine while your children die of plague." The voice continued, passionate and charismatic. "But no more. Tonight, we rise. Tonight, we take back our city." "Yayati," Manu whispered, the name tasting like ash on his tongue. As if in a trance, Manu found himself moving towards the sound, ignoring Priya's frightened protests. He pushed through the panicked crowd until he reached the edge of a makeshift stage. There stood Yayati, resplendent in his rebel armor, his eyes blazing with the fervor of revolution. But it wasn't Yayati who held Manu's gaze. Just behind him, her face half hidden in shadow, stood a woman Manu had thought long dead. A woman whose memory had haunted him for years. "Rohini," he breathed, his world tilting on its axis. Their eyes met across the chaos, and for a moment, time stood still. Then Rohini's gaze hardened, and she turned away, melting back into the crowd of rebels. Manu staggered back, his mind reeling. As the sounds of battle grew closer and Priya tugged urgently at his arm, one thought echoed through his mind. Rohini was alive, and she was with the rebels. The siege of Ajwain had begun, and with it, the unraveling of everything Manu had ever known.